Every high net worth individual asks me, Simon, where exactly should I buy real estate in Dubai? Because the wrong postcode could potentially cost you millions in appreciation. In this particular video, I'm going to break down where the smart money in Dubai is moving and where the people who really make the big bucks of Dubai's real estate market are actually investing in. Bonjour! Hello, welcome back to Deals with Simon. Dubai has grown at lightning speed, but not all growth is equal. So not every single sub-community of Dubai has capitalized on the same growth rally as other communities in the last 3-4 years. And in this particular video, we're decoding Dubai's map. I'm going to introduce you into the different zones of Dubai, into the overall infrastructure, into which particular parts of Dubai are more or less the established locations, which one are emerging and upcoming, and which one are the hotspots for the next 3, 5, 10 years in a long-term horizon to really capitalize exactly on those kind of profits that we potentially missed out with Palm Jumeirah, Jumeirah Bay Island, Emirates Hills, and so on. So this video is going to be absolutely elementary for you, and I want you to watch it carefully till the end, because whenever we are having our private one-on-one consultation later on, you will have even more clarity with this particular video, where we're putting our attention, why we're doing that, and we can connect the information which I'm giving you directly to your objective. So whether you're deploying 100 million dirhams or 10 million dirhams, this video is exactly the clarity that you need in order to orient yourself on Dubai's map. With that being said, let's get straight to the point. In front of us, we have the whole map of Dubai. And as usual, I'd like to go from the macro perspective and then zoom into the micro perspective to show you the different sub-communities, as well as the most important emerging areas, and then obviously where Dubai's government is putting their focus and attention on, where they're shifting to, which helps us to identify the most important and the most profitable investment opportunities for the next 3, 5, 10 years in a long-term horizon, okay? Now, when we're speaking about Dubai, it is important to understand how Dubai is associated with the society out there. And people associate Dubai with a couple of major key landmarks, and for me personally, these are 3 ones. And number 1 is obviously the famous Burj Khalifa in downtown Dubai, which is the world's tallest building. Number 2 is then the Palm Jumeirah, definitely, okay, the man-made islands. And number 3 is the world's first ever 7-star hotel, the Burj Al Arab. Now, you're pretty much familiar with the Dubai Marina, because Dubai Marina is the touristic hotspot number 1, together with JBR, where people who are coming to Dubai in the first time, they always go there and they want to explore that particular area as well. Now, then we have obviously the DXB, okay, Dubai International Airport is over here. This is most probably the airport where you're landing right now, and in the future it will definitely be Al Maktoum International Airport. So this whole particular part, okay, is the Al Maktoum International Airport, the WC, which we're going to speak on later extensively. And this is basically the general overview when it comes to Dubai, when it comes to the most important landmarks in itself. Let's continue with understanding the different zones of Dubai a bit better, because you can basically divide Dubai into different categories, and each and every category should be connected to a different objective and has a different investment potential, right? Because you cannot directly compare a prime seafront property with a property in the middle of the desert. There's a complete different perspective on it, and this is exactly why Dubai's map helps us to identify that potential and to categorize it. Now, when it comes to these layers, this is my personal belonging, my personal way of how I categorize it, okay? There's no specific rule on it. And for me, honestly, it starts here with Blue Waters Islands, goes all the way up to Pearl Jumeirah, and everything which is in between. These are the top prime areas of Dubai, especially on the coastline where we find beachfront and seafront properties. I'd like to mark this particular part here, okay? Everything here, including obviously downtown Dubai, this is tier 1 for me. This is the first layer. This is the most prime real estate which we potentially can buy. These are the prime locations of Dubai, okay? Period. Now, there is a very important road, and I marked it in yellow right now. And you can see here, E11, okay? It goes all the way up to the border Sharjah. So here is Sharjah, and over here is Abu Dhabi, okay, obviously wider, and this is the coastline is actually 72 kilometers. Now, the E11, the Sheikh Zayed Road, is one of the most important highways of Dubai. 6 lanes in one direction, 6 lanes in the other direction, because it connects basically all the Emirates. It connects the northern part to the southern part and the other way around. This is the first layer, so everything from the Sheikh Zayed Road towards the sea, this is what I categorize as layer and tier number 1. Tier number 2 is everything towards in between the E11 and the E44. So this is exactly the E44, okay? Zack. This is the road, which is so-called Al Khair Road. Al Khair Road is the second layer, and basically everything in between is still prime real estate, especially this particular area, which we're going to speak on in a second. And the third layer then is the E311. This is the Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Road, okay? Goes here. The fourth layer, as I'd like to call it, is the E611. It's here. It's the Emirates Road, okay? And then you have one more road, which is the E66. which is the Al Ain Road, and even the E77, which is the Expo Road. Now, these highways, they have a crucial importance overall because they are establishing the overall infrastructure of Dubai, okay? And these are the different tiers. So when we're speaking about these tiers, right, this here, okay, is tier 1, okay? Then tier 2 is this for me, zack. Tier 3, this. And then everything which we have towards here is tier 4. Now, please understand, a property here in tier 4 is not worse compared to a property here because there are different metrics to look at and there is a different potential in these kind of areas, but it's extremely important to understand the specifics, to understand the infrastructure, to understand what's going to be built towards those areas, okay, and what kind of potential is there actually lying. Another thing which I'd like to mention is, which we're going to discover later on, that the whole attention and focus of Dubai is shifting towards a specific part, which is actually this whole part, okay, of the south of Dubai. This is where the government is putting the most attention on. Why? Because here we have Palm Jebel Ali. Here is the Jebel Ali port, which is a top 10 port and extremely important for Dubai's import and export businesses, okay? And obviously here's the Al Maktoum International Airport. These are all parts where we're going to speak about later on more in depth. Let's quickly understand a specific part of layer 1, which is the area in front of Palm Jumeirah, because here we do have a couple of important locations which are crucial to understand their potential and what happened there and why these areas can potentially be replicated in the future in a different form. So when we're speaking about these areas, Palm Jumeirah should be clear, okay? I'm going to do a separate video in the future on Palm Jumeirah where I'm explaining certain elements about this overall incredible master development, which is actually done by Nakhil, the governmental developer. But for now, let's focus on the general overview, because we're having here Blue Waters Island. Blue Waters Island is a Meraz master development, and prices here doubled and tripled over the last couple of years. It was insane the last 5 years what happened. A lot of Russian buyers had actually a huge influence on that price rally as well, which is quite positive. Then we obviously have this whole sector here, okay, which is basically JBR Beach / here with the Dubai Marina. Super important to understand this particular part as well, because it is a prime destination, a prime waterfront area, okay? And specific developments, specific projects in the JBR have reached prices of 4,500–5,000 dirhams as well, especially the 5 JBR, and others are anywhere in the range of 2,500–3,000 dirhams per square foot on average, okay? Then we're speaking about this incredible part here, okay, which is the so-called Dubai Harbor. So considered as Dubai Harbor is the whole area, and this specific stretch here, okay, is the Emaar Beach front, which is an Emaar master development with exactly 27 buildings here. And here on the harbor, basically, we're having harbor residences over here, we're having W residences here, we have Shoba Sea Heaven. So there are a couple of incredible developments with prices on average here of 4,500 dirhams per square foot. Just imagine, Emaar Beachfront was launched initially, okay, I think it was Beach Isle if I'm not completely mistaken. It was Sunrise Bay or Beach Isle, one of those developments. There were, what was it, Beach Vista, one of those 3 developments. They were launched on a price per square foot of roughly 2,100 dirhams per square foot. Can you imagine? Now they're at 4,500, 5,000, 6,000 dirhams per square foot, all the way up to 7,000, 8,000 dirhams per square foot in the resale market towards the Palm side, okay? Now, this is extremely important to understand it here. And then obviously we're having this whole zone here, okay, which belongs to the royal family. Obviously, it's not possible to buy here and to keep yourself far away and respect this whole area because obviously it belongs to the royal family. Now, this is obviously the first part. Then we're having here towards this segment, okay, we're having Burj Al Arab, okay, and especially here, this is a Masa Al Arab. This is an incredible development. This is, if not the most expensive property which you potentially can buy if you're able to buy it here, because here we're speaking about the Masa Al Arab mansions, okay, and especially the residences and prices per square foot here are 15, 16, 17,000 dirhams per square foot, even 20,000 square foot and above, okay? And then we're having here obviously a very private island, which I'm not able to speak publicly about it, but this is basically it for the coastline. When we're zooming a little bit in, okay, we understand that this whole segment extremely important to understand as well. So here we're having JLT, which is an area which is like similar to a marina, but just a bit older, okay? Not able to buy prime real estate, not something that I'm really looking into it. I'm looking more into categories like these. So here we're speaking about Emirates Hills, okay? So this whole area here is so-called Emirates Living. Emirates Hills is literally the Hollywood Hills of Dubai, if you want so. It is the prime area where we see the biggest dimensions, okay? Sitting on 40,000 square foot plots. In the whole overall Emirates Living area, we're having Emirates Hills, we're having springs, we're having meadows, we do have lakes, we have greens, for example, okay? As well do we have right next to it the beautiful development of Jumeirah Islands, which is kind of replicatable to the acres, what we find there, okay, especially the acres estates, the mansions in the middle, the rondels with the water around. And then here on the side, we're having Jumeirah Park, okay? So these are super important, established, completed areas, and I want to focus on them because their position is absolutely incredible. And right now, like for the next years, we won't have any off-plan opportunities here anymore, but we have incredible opportunities in specific cases to buy in the secondary market certain properties here. Villas, okay, standalone villas sitting on large plots, basically buying them, refurbishing them, reconstructing them, adding value, and then reselling them for a huge premium. There's a huge market right now coming up, and this is something which we can talk separately, okay? When it comes to the roads, important roads here is definitely D63, okay? This here is the Sukaim Street, super important, and this here is the Hassan Street, D61. So these two streets basically, they connect you from the inside of the country towards the coastline as well. This is the complete overview. These are the most important parts which you want to mention on this particular graph. Let's head up to the northern part of Dubai, and especially at the center core, which is the Burj Khalifa district. Now, the Burj Khalifa district basically consists out of DFC, which we find here. This is DFC, okay? Downtown Dubai, obviously, okay? And this here is Business Bay. All right. Now, and all three parts together, they conclude as Burj Khalifa district, the heart piece of Dubai, if you want. So now, here it's extremely important to understand that downtown Dubai in itself, okay, is a master development of Emaar. So this is downtown, this is Emaar. Then Business Bay is a development which consists of many individual developers. It is not as clean, not as structured. It is not as downtown, where we have a very clean and sleek design, and you can see based on the buildings and based on the actual community that it is one developer who created everything. This is the big advantage of Emaar, because they are the genius, the master behind master communities, okay? And DRC as the financial part, extremely important to understand this as well, because whenever we're having a chance of acquiring residential properties in off-plan there, especially Four Seasons private residences has recently launched there, what else? The address, okay, address residences appears. These are products which you need to grab even on a price per square foot of 4.5, 5, 6, 7,000 dirhams per square foot, because the supply will always be a shortage there, because it is the financial hotspot of Dubai, if you want so, and people will always looking out for residential there, okay? Now, one part which I would like to mention, this is this particular area. This here is the Marasi Bay, and Omniat, one of my favorite developers in the ultra luxury segment, has actually acquired a plot over here. Here, and here is already the Lana. So basically they do have their own master development of ultra luxury over here. I made separate videos on my channel, Deals with Simon, about Vella Viento, okay? Super important products to understand, and this is creme de la creme. This is ultra luxury, entry tickets roughly 22 million dirhams, and this is basically the whole concept of downtown Dubai, Burj Khalifa district. Then when we're zooming over here, we're having the Dubai Water Canal, okay? There's a separate video coming as well about the Water Canal, because here we find all the incredible ultra luxury projects coming up, especially here is Murababil. Here is the Four Seasons is already there. Next to Four Seasons, there's the Rings. Okay, by PMR, I'm going to speak about them separately. And this part is extremely important, because this here, this seahorse style, is Jumeirah Bay Island, Bulgari Islands, Merah's master development. Together with Master Al, the most expensive and most beautiful and most secluded areas as well, because this is the so-called billionaires island of Dubai, if you want so. So it is very prestigious, even like Cristiano Ronaldo bought the plots there. And it is an island, it's a man-made island. Here is a 300-meter bridge that connects you basically to Jumeirah. By the way, this whole part here, this is all leasehold, so you cannot buy there, and this is basically only low-rise as well, okay? Then there is a very unique opportunity here, which I cannot speak about as well, which is the Peninsula, okay, where H&H is developing something which we potentially have not seen yet in Dubai in terms of luxury, ultra luxury specifically. And obviously here I cannot speak about this private island as well. I have to be extremely careful. Now, when we're looking over here, now it gets really interesting, because this is the whole area. This is Ports de la Mer, okay, and this here is La Mer South, and here we're having J1 Beach, which gets redeveloped right now, okay, with all the fancy restaurants, with African Green, Choo-Choo, Zirin by Gaia, what else? We have Gitano, we have Baoli. This is all coming here, and I already made a separate video about the product here, okay, which is the incredible Jumeirah Azora Bay by Meraz, something which you have to check out in terms of ultra luxury. So these are two very important areas which basically gets redeveloped and reestablished. And then we have Nikki Beach directly over here in Palm Jumeirah. Okay, this is another prime area, and this is basically a part of the coastline. These are the prime prestigious areas, all in a tier 1. Now remember, initially I explained that from Blue Waters Island all the way up to Palm Jumeirah, the whole stretch of the coastline is 80-90% done. It's completed in terms of the freehold plots. But there are some exceptions, like Jumeirah Azora Bay, which I already mentioned, which is a perfect product as a trophy asset to keep it for several years, a long-term investment. Why? Because these properties will never lose its value because of its prestigiousness, extremely limited supply, and a product which is only for ultra wealthy, which are not forced to sell in financial downtrades. Okay. Now, what about the communities from Palm Jumeirah all the way up to the northern parts, direction and border Sharjah? Okay. Here we do have 3 incredible opportunities. The 3 last plots towards this side, okay, and Palm Jumeirah is a separate one which you're talking about. But here we're speaking about this particular part, which is Maritime City / Jumeirah Peninsula, a master plan by Beyond. Beyond is a subsidiary of Omniat, okay, and they have acquired half of the whole peninsula and they're creating an exceptional master plan, something which I'm talking about separately on my channel, Deals with Simon. Number 1. Number 2 is this part of land. This is Rashid Yachts and Marina. This is the master development of Emar and has a huge importance as well to understand this product. And the whole part here will be concluded with this particular master developments. This is Dubai Islands. Dubai Islands is a long-term plan, a long-term horizon. It is massive, okay? I don't know the exact size, but if I would assume it and based on what I've studied so far, at least double the size of Palm Jumeirah as well, so you can compare it with a Palm Jebel Ali master development. Nakheel is the master developer as well as Palm Jumeirah, as well as Palm Jebel Ali, so you can already understand they as a land bank, they have a massive impact overall on this development. Now, right now, at the moment, there's a lot of construction and a lot of launches going on Island A, an island which I personally do not care so much about it. Why? Because, as you know, we're having the DXP here. This is a direct flight path, and obviously here you have some noises, and that's exactly why I personally do not put too much attention onto this Island A. My attention is on, in the future, definitely on Island B, okay, C, and D. This is here is E, okay? So this is B, Z, D, and E, okay? Here, we're having an 18-hole and a 9-hole championship golf course, okay? So just imagine, potentially we'll have beachfront mansions with a golf course, something which we have not experienced yet in Dubai. I'm going to speak about that separately as well, but these are the kind of opportunities which are awaiting you on the coastline of Dubai. Now, before we're gonna put our attention on the southern part of Dubai, let's speak about more of the country inside and especially the villa communities of Dubai in that certain stretch. So to keep it extremely simple, everything in between, let's say E611, which we have here, okay, and E311, these are purely villa communities, townhouse communities, and so on. And there are a couple exceptional ones. For example, which we have to definitely mark, this is the plots of the acres, okay? And this is Atham Ba Al Dar, for example, and so on. There are many developments right now under construction. I will not explain every single part of that because it's just too much. But basically, to simplify it, we have Dubai Hills Estate. This is Dubai Hills Estate where I'm living, where we have our office here. And the whole part right behind downtown. So let's say this part, okay, it's not very accurate here on this map, but this is MBR, Mohammed bin Rashid City, a complete master development. It's basically a city within the city, and it was named by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. And we're having district, we're having the District 1 villas, we're having district, the residential part, we're having the Nad Al Shiba here with Nad Al Shiba Gardens and so on. We're having even Shoba Heartland here. Shoba Heartland 2 is actually on the other side. This here is the plot of Shoba Heartland. This is made on Horizon. So you can see there are a lot of sub-communities which I could potentially explain, but it's just too long and too much advanced. And these are the most important parts which I want to emphasize here, together with, let's say, Al Barari as well. Okay, Al Barari, one of the greenest communities of Dubai, super gorgeous, super beautiful, and especially here, okay, this particular land, there is Eden Hills coming up, okay, a development by HNH, incredible villas and mansions. So you can see there's a lot coming up, but especially here in this prime area, in this prime inland, there are many more opportunities. This is what I mean. It's not a bad area, it's not a bad land in itself, because villa communities are tendentially more on the outside because of its privacy, to have larger plots, and they can never be directly on the coastline, specifically in larger communities. Last but not least, let's look into the south of Dubai. Now, there I want to emphasize on one major part, which is Palm Jebel Ali. There's a separate video coming onto my channel, Deals with Simon, where I'm explaining the whole master development here of Nakhil, but basically it's extremely important that we understand Dubai's focus is going exactly in that way, okay, towards the south. Why? Because number one, we're having the upcoming world's largest, biggest, most impactful airport, which is the Al Maktoum International Airport, a capacity of actually 250 million plus people per year, okay, as passengers. It's absolutely massive. And you can see that this whole area here, okay, zack, it's mainly desert at the end of the day, okay? There's not really much development, and you can already imagine what that means, looking especially into this particular part, okay? Here, this prime stretch here, looks like a marina, but just bigger. And this is exactly what you can anticipate. Here we have the Jebel Ali port, okay? I already mentioned it earlier. And this whole land here is completely undeveloped at the moment. So there is a lot in terms of opportunities and chances coming ahead. I want to emphasize here on one more thing, which is in particular this area here. This is Expo City Dubai, and over here we're having Mer South on the left-hand part of basically the Al Maktoum International Airports. So there are already two communities, especially Mer South and Expo City, where there is already something established, okay, where people are living and residents are living, but anything else, the majority here is about to be developed, and this is where the big money is lying for the next upcoming years and even decades. Fantastic. And I'm absolutely sure that this particular video has given you a lot of clarity and that you can orient yourself on Dubai's map a bit better now. And you now have a clear understanding of the coastline of Dubai, especially the most important areas, the upcoming emerging areas, the south of Dubai, where all the government is focusing on, and even the waterfront destinations which are coming up. So use this clarity basically, okay, and prepare for the next steps. And one of the next steps is obviously a private one-on-one consultation with me, because if you have questions about certain specific locations or developments which are coming up in those locations, for example, the upcoming master plan of Mer in the Science District, those kind of things which I have not even mentioned, there's so much which I could potentially speak about. And if you want to brainstorm, if you want to build strategies and so on, these are all topics which we can discuss in our private one-on-one consultation call. So basically, click the link below this particular video, fill out the form, give me some upfront information. The more the better, because this is the way how I can properly prepare myself for the meeting. And I will consult you in the best possible way for 45 minutes, okay? And this is exactly the chance that you can take right now. Click the link below this particular video, fill out the form, see you on the other side, and I'll see you in Dubai.